Good afternoon,
Good
Gregg.
afternoon, good
You're
afternoon,
in
good afternoon.
white today. I
Yes,
love
yes,
the white.
yes, yes. Mwah.
Very, very nice. I love white. It's like you're ready for summer. You have a sunburn.
I gotta look. Listen, it's
Yeah.
always so damn loud. I swear to you.
You have a
phone.
sunburn and you have white on, and you look quite
I look
handsome.
very special,
You're
don't I? I
tan.
look very
Yes.
special.
How
No,
was
I
your
always have-
How was your day?
I gotta tell you, my day was great. My day was great.
Yeah.
It's my friend's birthday, Kevin. I'm giving you a quick shout out. Happy birthday. Turned 48 or 47, 48. Anyway, it's below 50, so happy birthday. Giving you a big shout out there. I just have quite a few things after. I'm
Okay.
trying to remember, and I forgot.
Well,
what
I
did?
know that
I
there-
swear, if you go in the car, if you go to my car, I have a big Post-it. You know, like the notes.
Hey, we just
And-
pause
'cause-
and you go get it.
You know what? I swear to you, it's horrible because I can't remember things. So I'm constantly, so I have Post-its everywhere in the car. So everybody seems
Well, you
to
have a
laugh
lot of
when-
things to say.
Yeah,
but First thing
but
I
it's-
want to say is your son. I saw the beautiful picture. He received
Yeah,
confirmation,
yes, he
so this
did.
is a little something for
Oh,
John
thank
Gregory.
You, thank you, thank you.
And
thank you.
he's growing up so much. I can't believe
He's
it.
getting a little bit too big.
When I first met you, he was so little, and now look at him. He's like gorgeous.
Yeah, now, I mean, he's. It was really a very very happy day.
Good
and,
for you.
I just hate the fact that they're growing up. You know,
Yeah.
the kids are growing up.
That's what happens.
So yeah.
Very
But
true.
other than that.
And we had a great party I missed on
Yes,
Saturday.
yes,
I'm
you
sorry.
did. You did.
I'm coming
miss.
to the next
I can't even
one.
do my phone thing right now because you got me just so excited here
Yeah.
talking about what happened this weekend. But no, it was great. But I'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
I just have to do my phone.
Okay,
That's what I
so
always do.
we
the
have
first,
two
like, minute or
beautiful
so.
people here today. We have this very, very pretty Maria Lizza Bowen,
Thank you.
author of a book called Reflect. Can I see it?
Absolutely.
I can't wait to get into it.
There you go.
And when I saw this on Facebook,
So we can see it.
Sure.
I loved the cover so much
Thank you.
that I'm like, I gotta find out what this is. And then I loved the tagline, a perspective on understanding your reality and becoming unstuck. Perfect. Don't you love that?
It's very descriptive and hits the important parts.
Yes. So we're going to be talking with Maria, and Maria is a special name to me. My sister is up in heaven, and that's Maria Rosa. So this is very nice. Thank you for the book. I can't wait to read it.
Thank you.
And then we have Brian K. Baird. It's like you're a professor or something. It's the word, BKB,
Right.
you know? And I got a referral from you from someone all the way out in Suffolk County, and when you get here, find out you live around the corner from me.
There you go.
Brian K. Baird.
What did you call that? Kismet?
I call it karma, you call it kismet.
Okay.
Okay? So you're my neighbor, and I don't know you, which is very bad because I know everybody.
That's for sure.
So, you know.
You don't want to know it.
And you do all kinds of business, hypnotherapy. You're writing 3 books.
Yeah.
They're not done yet,
Oh, no. They'll take a little while.
right? Because you have all this knowledge in your head that, as just talking to you for the last 20 minutes, I'm like, this man is like prestige. And I have to thank,
Well,
our friend.
I'll pay you later for the
Yeah. I have to thank our friend. What is her name?
Linda Fostek.
Linda Fostek, who introduced me to you through the phone. And when you get here, I'm like, geez, small world.
Yes, it is.
And she's another great lady. She's been on the show once.
She's amazing.
And she's all over, traveling everywhere. On every show there is alive. So thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure.
And you're going to Ireland in 5 days, so I'm not even going to be able to get to know you until you come back.
We'll work it out, though.
Yes.
You're
gonna regret
I'm
it.
getting a message over here that I might want to be gone in Ireland a little longer. So
And you go to the diner in West Hempstead, which is hysterical because I go there all the time.
Yeah, she's there all the time.
Venus,
Tell them the days that you're there. Just give me a heads up.
twice a week. No, I don't go as much anymore. But I did meet my gentleman that I date now there, and that's where our romance started, at the
Okay,
Venus Diner.
cool.
So is that weird? Now that's another thing we have in common.
So are you a Rotarian? Is that why you're meeting at that diner?
I'm
or-
not a Rotarian.
Okay,
no.
because I noticed today that the Rotarians meet.
Yes, no, but we're part of, not me, but Gregg is a big shot in Kiwanis. And I go with Gregg to certain Kiwanis meetings.
Yeah, she does.
And he's very, very involved and popular and does great things in the community. So it's really something that I think this is going to be a good show.
It's always a good show. What do you mean you think?
I know, but it gets, I don't know how it happens. Things happen and I find out
She's
more.
really special.
So
very
you have
special.
a super personality, and I like your hair. It's kind of
Thank you.
fluffy on the top.
Yes.
That's what made her break it right now. It was your hair.
Thank
You
heaven.
didn't know that, right?
And I was going to
It's a
get
good
it
thing,
cut,
right?
so maybe, it would have been like, so.
So anyway, so thank you for coming. And
Yeah,
we're
so-
going to talk about a lot of things today.
All right, so now, today is National Tater. Every day, there's always a day. Day of something, there's a day named after something. Today is National Tater Day. So you can't say potato, it has to be tater. Are
Tater.
those taters, those little
Yeah, it's those
Yeah.
little
Tater tots?
tater tots? Yeah, that's it,
Yeah.
that's it, yeah. And today's National Bunsen Burner Day.
Well, I don't know what that's about.
I don't even.
Oh, I know what it's about.
What is it?
It's a little, like, heater that you, chemistry.
Yeah, but it
Bunsen
can't
burner.
be that. Is it really?
It has,
Yeah, I never
Okay.
used one.
They must have
never
ran
I
out
know,
of
I
things
blew
to
some
name.
things up with
Days.
it back in the day.
had- Yeah.
National Clams on a half-day shell, which is great. National Prom Day.
Which is
It
huge.
came out wrong.
I swear to you, it was going to go another
I
way.
thought you were
no.
going to say something else.
No, it was prom.
And
Prom
actually,
day.
Michelle Astor, who I know very well, is doing donations for prom and collecting jewelry and shoes
Oh,
and all
really?
for the girls. So we're going to see if we can help her with a few items. And so maybe she's doing it because it's National Prom Day in the month. March is Women's Month. So thank you for being a woman's woman.
Thanks for being a woman.
Well, that brings me to the point
I
of
can't say
adding
thanks for
that
being a
today's
man.
the last day of, I'm not sure if it's international or national Women's
History Month.
History Month.
Is it?
Today
So
is, yes.
this is I think last year it was like a week, and this year they made it a month. And I was just earlier today I was at a dental appointment, and I was commenting to everybody there was a female, and I said to them, and they were like shocked that a guy would say this. I said, I think all our world leaders should be women, because they process differently than guys do.
No,
for
that's very
sure.
true.
So
But it's nice hearing that from a man.
I'm happy.
Okay, now I'm gonna get
I'm happy
killed
to
for
share
that.
this
I'm not even
energy.
going to say anything. I'm not even going to say anything.
So the first thing we do on the show is we break bread. So you are getting a loaf of Italian bread.
Okay,
And you
excellent.
break it with your mom, because you said you take care of
Okay.
your mom. And there's some other goodies in there for you to take home, little marketing pieces and a little gift.
Thank you.
And that's for you too.
Thank
And
you.
we figured we'd decorate for Easter because Easter's coming. So
Put
that's
it
our,
next to my
Yeah,
tissues.
just put it.
that's what we do. We do things a little unique here, a little different. So I have some news, but I'm not telling anyone yet. But
You're pregnant.
no, but I have some good news. We're going to Westbury tonight just to have a drink at the bar, and you got to come.
Okay, I guess I'll be
And
there.
we'll be talking about my news there.
Really?
I'm not pregnant.
Patrick, I don't know, I'm just wondering.
So anyway, we're gonna just go for an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably be
You
back.
come? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'll definitely be back.
So anyway, I'm pretty snazzed
Anyway,
up for it.
I got to give a couple little shout outs right now. Power Radio, Power 78.7 Radio was here on Saturday. It was a madhouse. It was great. DJ MDW, I love you to death. Mike Torres, Benny B, Cliff Hernandez, you guys were phenomenal. It's gonna be a monthly thing, so we're really looking forward to that. I love being a part of that. These guys are just,
They really are.
they have so much energy. I mean, I get tired, and I'm very energetic and very hyper, as you can tell. And I use my hands a lot, okay? And you know where I'm going with this one. Mario, friends in Florida. Mario, Marilyn, you guys are phenomenal. You raised two great kids. And Liza and Mario Jr., I don't know if you mind being called Mario Jr., you guys are, over the top, really over the top. Kevin, I got to give you a big shout out. That's the roommate. I went in, they came down, I went to go see them, and I walked into their apartment, very nice apartment, remodeling. And I was saying, and Liza wants to reconstruct the kitchen and everything like that. And the brother's like, listen, I don't really get myself involved with that, you know. And the roommate Kevin just kept staring at me like, you know, I don't know, maybe I thought there was something wrong with me or something, but I was talking about, you know, she wants to do the floor and what kind of floor tiling she wanted to do. So I was just giving her a little bit of an idea of what, you know, because I like to decorate. I said, well, you know, if you have like heavy people, big people like myself walking, you want to get a certain kind of floor, blah, blah, blah. And she just kept staring at me. And she's like, and I kind of missed it, but she's like, you're like the biggest person that ever came to this apartment. You know.
Here we go again.
sorry.
Don't
Yeah,
throw
yeah,
it.
yeah, I
I
won't
want
throw
you to share it. So don't-
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
All right, there we go. Oh, her phone never stops.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I think she does that intentionally just to get me riled.
I need
okay,
attention.
but that's okay. But it was really funny because you know, she made a comment that I'm like the biggest person that's ever been in the
Oh, so
apartment.
yeah.
And
Okay,
and
I
Liza's very tall. She's like 4'11". Now I'm with the tall club of Long Island. I'm with the tall club, and it exists. So guys have to be 6'2", guys have to be 6'2", and females have to be 5'10". Yeah, it exists. It's around the world. It's a very big organization. And I was wondering if Liza was with a club, but she's too tall to be with the little people club, you know,
And not tall enough.
but not tall enough to be with the tall club. But Liza, you got the biggest heart in the world. You really, really do. And Mario, the guy's he's carte blanche. And especially I got to appreciate Mario because Mario likes cologne. I love cologne.
Yeah,
Cologne.
well,
And so
I
that was
couldn't
like the
tell.
first thing.
cologne is nice.
Wow.
I'm only
Okay.
Do you like his cologne?
I can't smell.
Oh, you can't.
I have a
because
little
of your
allergies.
allergies.
Okay. Good answer.
Well,
Good
I
answer.
smell it. It's good.
Okay. So, yeah, and so that was the first compliment. He, you know, he shook my hand, good firm handshake, looked me in the eye, whatever. He goes, nice to meet you. And he's like, yo, I like your cologne. That takes a real man to say that to another man because a lot of guys just feel like, what's the big deal? If something smells good, I'll always ask you, what are you wearing? You know, so Mario, I appreciate the love that you gave me. And Liza, I really, really appreciate it. And Marilyn, I really, really appreciate you very, very much for the conversation and for you taking care of the little one over there. And I don't want to mention who because I'm not allowed to mention certain names. Anyway,
Well, just so you know that Liza is probably in good company because Shakira is 4'11".
no, she's not. Is she really?
Yeah. Shakira's
She's 4'11"? Liza and Shakira.
So
it's good
That's,
club.
that's
But it's
a
funny
great
with
club
the
you guys can
SH,
start.
Because I was on a panel this week with very, very nice businesswomen, and I was very happy they asked me to be on it. And I didn't know what this meant. Do you guys know what a shiro is?
No.
I
Male Shakira.
no. A shiro is a woman that's a hero.
Really?
Yeah, they know it.
Oh,
So they're
okay.
talking about us being shiros on this panel, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what a shiro is. And then I told the truth because I do that. I'm like, could you explain to me what
Right.
a shiro is? And they said,
Hero,
well,
she,
that's
hero, okay.
that's you. I'm
Well,
like,
now that you say that, I've heard that. It's not language I normally use, but
Yeah.
it would be, I don't even use the word hero that often.
yeah. Well, so I learned something new. I never heard of that. So, and you didn't either. Usually you
that's
know
right.
everything. So.
And Michelle, I did not forget you. I'm sorry. Michelle. Amare, you know how much I see, I pronounce it wrong. Amare. Amore. Great guy. Mel, you know I love you. I didn't forget about you. Don't think I forgot about you. They came all the way down. They performed Fascination. Elsie, you were on point also. Michelle hasn't sang in a few years, and she came up. She came on the stage, and she
Wow.
really killed it. She forget about it. Michelle, I love you. Thank you for doing what you did. And I'm outie. I said it right. Thank you. I'm outie. All right. Correction. I'm outie. Guys,
go.
thank you so much for everything. Thanks for all the love that you guys give me, and it's definitely being reciprocated from here all the way there for Chicago and everywhere, Santo Domingo, you name it. Even Puerto Rico, giving a shout out. Mike Torres, look. There you go. Mike's already on there. Mike Torres was one of the DJs. He's phenomenal. So anyway, I just have to give that big shout out. And Kevin, I can't wait to see you again. I mean, I don't bite. You know, I'm a hugger. And it was different, kind of hugging everybody a little bit. They were like a little shorter, just a little bit. But they all have big hearts. Guys, thank you so much for being you. I really appreciate that, and I love you guys.
Me too, guys. Sorry I missed it.
Yeah, no, they'll be back.
I
Everybody
know.
will be
I
back
can't
again.
wait to come back. Maybe you'll be back by
Yeah.
then. You'll come. It's a great party.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
once a month.
It's every month. Now it's
So-
gonna be every month.
Let's talk. Let's talk turkey.
Okay.
Reflect.
Reflect.
How did you come up with this great book?
I'm going to be honest, I have no clue. I have no clue. I try to think of 12 different answers on the way, but the bottom line is it just happened. And I want to apologize ahead of time. My voice is a little, a little hoarse.
Yeah,
just
that's
some
what mine is.
allergies.
Mine sounds like that all the time.
Not sick. I got my COVID test, so we're all good. But it kind of came out of nowhere, but it makes sense that it did. And the timing, actually a year ago, I lost my father.
I'm sorry.
And thank you. I think that really spurred on.
It does. Lost spurs.
It does. It's like, you know what am I waiting for? You know, I literally started the book a year before. And you said you're writing 3 books?
3 at once, yeah.
I literally had to break it out into 7 different books so that I could focus on this one. I had no clue what I wanted to write about. I just started writing,
you just did
and
it.
yeah, and I just let it all come out, and it didn't make sense.
So
And I
wait.
started
So
rearranging
when you started writing,
Yeah.
did you pad and paper or did you use record
everything,
it?
everything. I did recordings. I wrote on scratch paper. I of course, I typed.
Yeah, and your house looked like a mess wherever you wrote, right?
Yeah,
Because
yep.
I know you have stuff all over the place. Because when you work on different things.
Everywhere, yeah, and just started to piece it together, and also like looking through my journals in the past and stuff, I realized that a lot of it was already there. So it was a confirmation that this stuff was brewing all along inside me, and as I mentioned, my father passed, and it really spurred me on to kind of just pull it all together. So I literally learned a little bit more about myself as I wrote it.
That's what loss does, right?
Yeah,
You learn more about deep into what you're thinking.
yeah.
I just happened to open this up. I'm on page 69, and this is blame you have here.
Oh,
It says blame, the martyr, the narcissist, and the one who surrendered.
yeah.
What is that?
It's well, in the context of that chapter, it's just that we are everyone. We are all martyrs. We are all narcissists, and we all have the capability to really surrender. And what I mean by surrender is just give it up. Just let it. Let it go. I keep hitting.
It's okay. It's okay.
She's hitting you.
Just if you allow yourself to just stop. Just stop thinking. Shut your phone off. Just be in the moment. Just listen to what someone's saying. Very importantly.
Listening skills.
I don't do it
Say it
either.
again,
Don't
say it
feel
again, say it
bad.
again one more
Well,
time.
listening
Say it again,
skills is what you're saying.
Right,
Yeah.
which you have none of.
I do.
Listen,
it
we're not
depends.
perfect. Nobody's
When I
perfect.
coach people,
No.
I have listening skills. On the show, I don't have listening skills. I talk.
In life, you don't have
Yes,
listening
I do.
skills.
I coach people one-on-one.
Okay, yeah. You don't listen, you just coach them.
I do.
Yeah, but she does it from her heart, and that's what counts.
Oh,
right?
Lord, Mary
And that's why it
Jesus.
works.
Okay.
So
But
we
here's
gotta stick up for
here's
each
another
other.
one. And, if your eyes are open, you'll see the things worth seeing.
Yeah, because you're gonna see what you're looking for, whether that's
Right.
good or bad, right?
Right.
So, and I pull from all different directions. I pull from I have a million books at home. I have them upstairs, downstairs, everywhere, and they're all different topics. I mean, everything you could think of. I could pretty much have my own bookstore. And what was my point? I don't know. It's little pieces of everything in there that
I see that.
Came together.
I'm really, here it is, turning it around. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious.
Yeah, it's the hidden parts. It's the blame. We'll go back to the blame, right? We blame everyone
But
or
yourself, right.
ourselves, the
Well, no, no,
narcissist
right.
the martyr, because we can't just be there. We can't just be present. It's too hard. We don't know how to do it. Hopefully, reading through this book, I don't really give steps. I don't really give, do these 10 things and you're going to be, aware. I wish I could do that. I don't have that capability.
This one is funny. Excuse me, here's my nose. I found it in my business.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't even know I put that in
I
there.
like that. Mind your own business.
Mind your own business.
Oh,
Wow.
Don't worry about yourself.
oh.
Some books.
Wow, say it again, louder.
It's,
Wow.
It's a
Come
lot
on,
of
you
stuff.
did it.
Perception.
Can you highlight that?
Perception is a mirror. That I believe.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean if people perceive you as a certain thing,
Yeah.
that's a good thing, even if you're not quite there yet.
Yep.
And it's all about perception, especially in business too. You're not saying much.
I'm just waiting because
waiting for
You're
him
going to have a
I'm
lot
like-
to
Yeah,
say.
that's it.
I could
I'm
take. I
so
could
wound
sell.
up on her with wisdom that she's sharing, and it really is wisdom. And then I was looking at the ideas as when she doesn't know where things come from. That's when, in the course of even my own work, even though I'm a business person for
best
my
help.
entire life, is that there is the divine engagement in all of us, and that you
Yes.
get these downloads that you don't. It's still you.
It is.
It's just you integrated with that source. And-
Unfiltered.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just when you get these amazing products,
Yeah.
which can be words or experiences or feelings that you share or whatever. So I didn't have to say anything because you were saying it all.
And I, after talking to you guys too, I think I think the first thing I said was, I think we're here for the same reason.
It's a connect, like
It's
we're all
definitely,
connecting.
yeah.
Here's one: the greatest deception men suffer is from their own opinion. Wow.
Yeah.
And Leonardo da Vinci said that.
Why don't you just read the whole book? We'll just
No,
read it.
no, that's it.
It's not that long.
I like to bring out these little things. It says, stop beating yourself up.
Yeah.
So, tell us. I mean, how did you get so knowledgeable on all this? Are you a psychologist?
I got myself into a lot of trouble. That's how I found out
seems to
everything
work
in my
really
whole
well.
Good
world.
way to learn.
Not afraid to,
So you were outspoken and doing things that you shouldn't have?
No. Well, maybe sometimes. Yeah. Yes and no. Yeah. I mean, I just, I'm curious.
Yeah.
So I just keep, like Curious George, he always got in trouble.
And you don't have any regrets, right?
None. Not one. Not one.
At least that you. Oh, stop!
Not
Everybody's got
one.
regrets.
Nope. I don't have any
Really?
regrets. Nope. I did before.
I have regrets that I didn't make like better choices when I was younger.
no,
you know what I mean?
you're
But it's
right.
not regrets, but you live off of that, you feed off of that, and you become better if you can use it in the right way. But it's like Turner. Would I change my life around? Nah.
Exactly.
I don't think I really would.
Then you
and,
really-
and I
you
had a
wouldn't be
crazy
where you- where
and I had a
you are.
crazy life growing up. I really did. But I think that's what made me who I am today. Which everybody says
Absolutely.
that. Everybody says, but you try and break certain patterns. Maybe that family, like the way sometimes my parents were very strict. Everything was strict, and I don't want to be as strict. Which I found myself being strict with my kids. But you know what? There's a way of being strict. There's a way of talking to your kids, and there's a way of dealing with people. So I just found that I was talking to one of my other friends, and he says to me, he goes, you don't regret that? We were talking about that.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I just regret that I wish I was a bit smarter in the choices that I made that caused me to get in a little bit of trouble. You know what I mean?
Here's the interesting fact is that the person you are today is right at the moment, is the most authentic version of you who's ever
Right.
been. And you can be more authentic every day. If you live in any kind of regret about where you have been, you would not know the person you are today, nor the person you would think you would have been. So you would have been inauthentic in every way. So
you want to look at it that way. I mean, it sounds great.
So your journey,
I got to look at it that way.
your
That's
journey, despite
absolutely
any
true.
mistakes or any challenges that came along, that all created the pathway to you being the most authentic version of who you are today. And so nothing to regret. You can't change. You can't look in the rearview mirror.
And you
Well, you
continue,
could.
No,
and
you could,
You
but
could, but
And-
but now
it's
you're
behind me, though.
But
That's
now
behind me.
Now you
And I'm
got
not
your
bringing
eye-
behind
Now
the
you don't
back.
know what's in the road in front of you.
Right.
And
the
Focusing
journey,
on it.
right?
And not only that, sometimes you don't even see those things in the past as being clear.
That's true.
You
Those-
imagine
those
them the
little
way you
spots
want
on the
to
rearview
see
mirror
them.
you can't see.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
because after you go through some stuff, then you realize, why did I get so upset about that before?
Yeah, when you think
Yeah.
about it.
Now
yeah.
I don't.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
You
just
try not to. You really
Yeah.
try not to.
Yeah, and it says here that you're an owner of books by Maria. So that means you have a few books.
I'm about to have a few books.
Oh, so you're
You
gotta
really
plan
publishing-
ahead, right?
Yes.
Right.
I think she said she had 7 in the works.
Yeah.
I have,
and scientist. You're a scientist.
Yes.
I really.
Wow.
Yeah.
You are tremendous.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wow, you must have some IQ. Look, she's
I'm
very
just
like-
curious.
She's like, okay.
It's great. So now,
300.
now, where do people buy your book? Is it Amazon, as everybody does?
It's Amazon, yeah.
Are you in any books, readings or book clubs or stores yet?
No, not yet. In all honesty, this is all brand new to me, so I'm just kind of learning as I go along.
Yeah, like I was
Great.
talking about, and I know eventually I am going to finish this. So I have the recorder, and I constantly try and just say things into it.
That is amazing. That's good.
But then again, like I always say it every time, who really wants to listen to my story? Do you know what I mean? That's
be
the way I look at it. But
surprised.
yeah, but then other people say that.
I have never
You'd be
met a
surprised.
person who didn't have a story worth listening to.
Absolutely, I agree.
Well, it's very true. And then you say here also, create the life that you intend to have for the future, which it does happen once you do finally open that brain of yours and
Yeah.
get inspired, and inner peace, which happens as you get older, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the wiser part. I always tell my kids, I believe they're much smarter than me. Because like I said, you try and help your kids do a math homework. 1 + 1 is not 1, it's 3 with one remainder, with the way they do this calculating thing. So, and I say to them, you're probably smarter than me, but I'm a bit wiser than you. I mean, just wiser due to being my age and going through life. And so when you mentioned the part about the being wiser, I mean, that's key.
And then you say you're a student of life.
Yeah, student of life.
Yeah.
That means you want to explore and
and
explore
we're
and
always learning.
explore, right?
We're always
Learning,
learning, and
yeah.
we're always learning.
That's
You
great.
could learn from anything. Actually, you do learn because no matter what here's what I get out of it. No matter what you're doing, what you're looking at, what you're focusing on, you have an intention. You might not even realize what it is,
Well, that's
but
true.
that's what you're looking at.
Right.
No matter what you look at, right? It's all. It all comes together. You got to read the book. I
Yeah,
forget
so
what
now where
exactly.
people buy the book? They go to Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
And your website? Do you have a website?
Yes, it is just my name, marializabowen.com, and you can click right in there to get to Amazon. So.
And Facebook? You have
And
And
Facebook,
Instagram, all
and
those great
Instagram
things.
and Twitter and
Yeah, you're pretty
Pinterest.
Yeah, you're on Pinterest.
What is
too.
Pinterest really? I mean, I never really. I mean, I'm not
It
a big
takes
media.
a
I mean,
while
I just
to
do
figure
this.
it out.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
you gotta really play with it.
Yeah,
This posh Pinterest and all this.
it's just like I think it's an idea and inspiration kind of a tool.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
also creative.
Creative, very
Yeah, you
creative,
can make
yeah.
all kinds of fancy things. So.
Oh, really?
Well, you can.
Find out how to do anything in the world on Pinterest. right?
Pinterest. Yeah,
Oh
but
yeah,
you
anything.
need time.
I just Google everything.
You need constant
Google.
attention and time to do this.
Yeah,
It's hard,
absolutely.
especially when you're one-man bands and you do everything yourself.
True.
Well, I'll offer you a phrase that somebody shared with me during COVID, and I was having this point where I was pulling my hair out, so to speak.
And you have such nice hair.
Thank you.
She wants to pull it. Trust me. Be
So,
careful what you say. Look, there
the,
you go. Too good to be true.
She offered me this phrase, and it has changed my perspective of time ever since. And she said, just say to yourself and say to the universe, time expands for me. And then all of a sudden, you don't have, see, so when you get stressed over time,
Yes.
it shifts how you use time, and it makes it so your use of time is not present.
I love
As
it.
soon as you say time expands for me, you now work in a more peaceful, joyful place that is the present. Which is you're talking about being present.
Yeah.
And then when you're in the present, then you use time in a very different way, and it becomes more of service to you and everybody around you when you operate in that place.
Because if you're more pleasant,
Oh, yeah.
the people around you are going to
That's
want to be
right.
around you more.
That's right.
Absolutely.
If you're, wow.
I don't know.
Or
if you-
sometimes, which I do hate that word, misery.
yeah, I don't know
hate
anything
that
about
when
being
misery loves
unpleasant.
company.
Yeah.
It's
I
so
can't
true,
stand that,
though.
but that is so
Well,
true,
in
though.
Italian, they say
That's true.
miserabile.
Yeah.
And that's really, when somebody says that, it means that person is really
Yeah, but,
not nice.
miserable is miserable. I don't care what language you say
Yeah.
it in.
But
you
it
know,
sounds better, miserabile.
That's right.
In French, it's misérable. Without the blood.
So look at this nice picture I have of you.
Wow.
What should I do with it? You used all my ink
Oh,
on the
don't
printer.
you, what do I do with it?
So are
It
you
sounds like
sending,
a Playboy. No, forget it, Mac.
are you sending
forget
me a
it.
bill for the ink now?
Oh my God! Look at this. What do I do with it?
No, but I got to tell you, I like your hair better this way. This was, I guess, a different way you
Yeah, it
wore
was
your
probably
hair.
when I was doing that headshot.
Yeah, but you have blue eyes.
Yeah.
Blue eyes, that's a big thing. So let's talk
All
about
right,
your
let's talk
book.
about the book here. Wait, before you see, that's why you're on her side. Okay. Jenny A, Jenny C, how you doing? Ed Shin, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Liza, welcome back. I know she was away. Danny Romano, Ashley, how you doing? DJ Mike Torres, of course. Hello, hello, hello. Susan Pinky. We have Rick DeGenova. How you doing?
My cousin, that's my
Is it
cousin.
really?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Ricky, thank you for watching.
yeah. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later, Ricky. All right. Kathy, how are you? From Paparazzi Jewelry. You got to look her up on Facebook. Of course, MDW. He says hello, sends his love. Teresa, how you doing, hun? Andre's going to be here very soon. Andre Fair, which is the DJ for WLIR. So we're going to have our WLIR nights back again. Ariel, how are you? Ariel Sinclair.
yeah, what a doll.
Amazing. We have Kelly. Kelly Rooney says, hello, Maria.
Oh, hi, Kelly.
Okay.
Hi.
She's giving you, and I know if I'm missing a few other people, but I'll get back to you. But let's talk to this young man right here with the blue eyes and the nice hair.
Baird. Like I said, it's like a name.
Doesn't it sound like an author's name?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds like an author. It sounds like a professor. It sounds like somebody that's
Forget
very,
it.
smart.
Well,
So-
in reality, it's just a know-it-all.
Yeah. Oh, you're a know-it-all. Okay. Experience, extraordinary, money-making, everything. The heart-centered businessman.
Right.
So let's talk about you. The effective way.
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, it is a psychology of success platform for business. And it's all about making it so that businesses can thrive instead of just survive. And you could even see it during COVID, is that businesses that were just bean counting and watching the clock, they're dying. Many died during COVID.
Yeah.
So the ones who survived are the ones who had invested in their people and invested in their clients with the kind of energy that made everybody feel they were part of a community. And so it's been happening slowly, but it's now accelerating, where if you do not have a business that is human and heart-centered, then you will not be. And I predict by the end of this decade, there will be no of the old bean counting businesses left.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, who's going to survive?
The ones who have developed social consciousness and have developed a connection to people that is authentic and effectively meaningful to the people they serve, whether it's the team members in their company,
Right.
or their clients, and for that matter, even leaders and investors.
Well, even restaurants. I noticed that the smaller restaurants that have the owner going around talking to people still, they're still making it.
But those little, I've always said that.
Yeah.
You know what? And it always used to bother me. When I was younger, we would always go out to eat, my family. And my father, people would come out and say hi to my dad all the time. And then other people, which would go to the same restaurant, would always be like, well, how come the owner doesn't say hi to me? And they probably come maybe even more than we do. And I never forgot that. So no matter what kind of business I've ever had, I would always greet the customer. I would always go out of my way.
And you have
You know
to.
what I mean?
And you make it you make a point though of realizing that there's just, even if it's a small time investment, it's still a relationship
Right.
investment. And what we really are talking about is the key to successful business is always going to be in the quality of those relationships. And if it's strictly monetary, that's what makes companies get into trouble. Look at some of the wireless telecom carriers, when they were having tough times, they were shedding 50, 60, 70,000 people. That meant the people weren't important. It was, and by the way, those executives, those companies were getting giant golden chute
That's right.
parachutes.
That's right.
It's
Golden
true.
parachutes, I should say, and they, it was really, and that, we've talked briefly offline about narcissism and other things like that, but you get somebody who's taken 300, 400 times the salary of the lowest employee in the
Right.
company,
Can you believe that?
and then they get to stay, but the employees have to go. That's a bean counting company, and those companies are indeed in trouble.
Yes.
And so we're starting to see a lot of competition. They may be piggybacking off of other companies in some of their platform ideas, but they're starting to bring in that human equation with a story that resonates and connects people, and even their marketing will tell you those kinds of stories.
And you mentioned to me that you do hypnosis.
Well, I'm a lifelong entrepreneur. In fact, it'll be 50 years this summer that I've been doing, since I
congrats.
started my
Congrats,
first
congrats,
business.
congrats.
And in the course of doing that, I added hypnotherapy and some other modalities which are very, very powerful, helping leaders shed some challenges that block them from being good leaders. And
Really?
so
And
I-
how do you do that? By hypnotizing them and asking them questions?
sometimes it's
how
more.
do you treat your
sometimes
people?
it's a coaching and exploratory thing because not everybody's open to
Yeah.
hypnosis.
Right.
True.
So, but if they need it, because the benefit to hypnosis is it's rapid, it's permanent, it does the job.
Do you really believe that it really works?
Well, I'll tell you a funny story if you're interested.
Yes.
Yes,
But only
please.
only if you're interested.
No, very.
Of
You kidding me?
course.
So when I was 16 years old and I was living in Charlottesville, Virginia at the time, I got myself a ticket to go see a stage hypnotist, mentalist named the Amazing Kreskin.
Oh.
Now, New Yorkers may remember him.
Yes, I
Because he was
know.
prominently a New Yorker. And he asked during the show who would like to volunteer to come up stage to be hypnotized. And I waved my hand, I got up on stage, but I couldn't have been there more than 2 minutes, and he had me sit down. And I was convinced at that point, hypnosis was a fraud. And then go several decades further, I'm now at a business retreat. The lead presenter at this business retreat was a doctor of something, didn't know. I was opening my big yap when I heard people talking about hypnosis and saying, it's a fraud. So she changed the way she introduced herself and asked if she could just tell a story that would maybe give us a trance-like effect. She didn't mention the word hypnosis because she wanted to take my guard down. And I went very deep, very fast, and I said, I have to have this in my life. And so I went and studied
you
with
got
her. I
interested.
trained with her.
You trained with her. So you're probably still friends.
We're connected.
Yeah, that's great.
So, and it turns out that, even in marketing, there's language that we can use that
That's
is
true.
suggestive, that comes, it's all about the power of the words. Like, you can say, I'll give you a simple thing. One of the things that's pervasive in the English language is the word but.
But
So we go,
One T or two?
just the one T. So, thank you.
Okay.
Well,
You have to get.
Is
it
that
could,
in your
it
book?
could be the other word too, depending on where you are. Maybe if you're in Appalachia. But the thing is that, see what I just said? And the thing is that when you're involved in a conversation, you can say, like, I don't know, I was listening to Liza tell her story, and I think it was like all this wisdom, and I could say, you're so wise, but I don't understand the thing you say, or something to that effect. That but cancels the wisdom statement and all of that stuff. So it's very important that we look at, even in marketing and business leadership, and how and team members can be given the vision, is that we're not using low energy words. We're not
And
using
but's a bad one.
and but's not.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Like when people say, I'm sorry, but,
Right.
I'm sorry if I did this, but.
Right?
Right.
but
That
word.
person knows who I'm
Paul
talking to.
Brown.
But is a cancel word. It's not a very.
cancels,
It's a
thank
very
you.
powerful word in a
It's
non-positive
like I love
way.
you, but then you don't love me.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
So
mean? Why would you
what
say
I
but?
recommend, when you're just talking about the use of language inside of this context, and I have other modalities besides
That's
hypnosis that I
interesting,
work
though.
with, but you can just say to people, I catch myself all the time, because in the English language, but is often used as a placeholder as we're thinking about the next thing we're going to say, and so we're so used to it that it's a challenging thing to stop doing.
It is hard, right?
Hold yourself on your chair too.
Right, and even like that, you just said it is hard, and it's a lot better to say it's not easy,
Right.
because hard is a low energy
Well,
word,
hard's a big word.
and it's a
Look, see what I'm talking about? Okay.
so you can change the way an entire company operates and move it from sort of whether it's survival or fighting for their lives, or maybe they're beyond subsistence, but they're working on, with some challenges to get to the next level. If we change their culture by changing some language and helping also shape leadership and how they show up and they share their vision, because communication is an important part of this process.
Absolutely.
You can create a heart-based posture inside of a company, and that company will thrive many, many, many times more than just a surviving company.
One of the guys, Miriam, giving you a shout out. How are you, real quickly? Stephen, thank you so much. I love you, Steve. Gloria, how are you? Paul Brown goes, not all people could get hypnotized.
Well,
Now,
I only had
all right,
one.
okay.
But there is truth in
Okay,
that.
because I was hypnotized once. Cliff, how you doing, buddy? Giving you a shout out. I see you just come on. You just got on. It was this guy. He did hypnotize. Well, I don't know if it worked or it didn't work, but he did all these things with me and did a countdown, whatever. I could hear him. I don't know if it worked or not, to be honest with you. Maybe because I didn't
Give it
maybe
all.
want to believe that it worked. So I think my energy was kind of, it's like people can't read me, meaning of I don't care, fortune tellers or because I don't know, maybe something about me doesn't allow anything to come through if I don't want it to. So I don't know if it works for
No,
for
I
hypnosis.
have had exceptions. I think I said I only had one. I only had one-to-one hypnosis experience where somebody did not respond, and then I did a group hypnosis once, and one of those people did not respond at all either. The latter one, I'm certain, was afraid, way
It's the
beyond.
fear.
Really?
and so-
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
fear.
the same thing happened to me. I went with my mom and her sisters. I was the only one. They didn't want me in the group.
Really?
I was afraid.
They threw you
I,
out.
I was too protective. Like when you put that protection up, you're nobody could do anything that you don't allow them to.
Right.
Right.
I
It,
believe,
it
yeah,
goes
firm
right
believer.
back to that, right? But
Right.
if you had that nice experience because you felt comfortable,
At 16, I had that. It
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah,
work.
right.
Yeah.
I was not
You had your
suggestive
defenses
and
up.
receptive, and so that, the idea is, and it doesn't mean that I would not necessarily have other candidates if I just picked the standard, drive people off the street, and I would probably have a higher non-success rate just because, one, they don't know me, especially since they don't know me, and some people are lean in on trust more easily. However, by the time somebody's come to me for coaching, they already are trusting me.
All right.
So it
So that
takes a
does-
lot of those barriers
Okay.
down, and that's why I've only had those two incidents I just
Right.
told you about, plus my
So-
own personal start at age 16, where
Right,
I
okay.
was not hypnotizable, and learned later on it was me that was the issue,
Right.
not.
No,
not the
I'm
artist.
a firm believer. I raise my hand and say it's me. Paul goes, let's see if he can hypnotize. Nah, I don't know if
Not gonna do it here.
No, Paul, it's okay there, buddy.
Not going to do it here.
All
Now,
right.
do you
But-
do,
but
do, you
we'll-
do
we'll-
that thing?
I would
No.
try. Listen, I'm very. It's like people that turn around and I always say, if somebody really wants to stop smoking,
They could.
and you really believe that, hey, and you want to, or I don't care if it's drinking or drug, whatever it is, I believe the power of within is so strong, and if you really believe that whatever it is that you might, I don't care if it's being hypnotized, medicine, whatever it is, that you really want to do that, I believe it'll work.
Right, well, everything's about what you're willing to release. And sometimes you don't know what it is first. Like Liza said, very obviously, not everybody sees what their journey challenges are. And so if you were like trying to help somebody, so we're switching from business, which is great. I'm happy to talk about this. When you're switching to this idea of maybe smoking cessation. So some of the experience may also depend on the quality of the hypnotherapist. Because I've seen a lot of hypnotherapy scripts that are non-positive. So for example, if somebody was trying to quit and I was going to give some suggestive language, you don't want to touch that dirty cigarette. That's vastly different than, imagine the freedom of being able to breathe freely.
It's much more
And
positive.
cleanly.
Right.
I love it.
It's the way you're saying
So
it,
you
right.
just say it differently. And so who's going to have more success supporting the smoking cessation as a hypnotherapist? And there are things about the client that could be an issue too, because they may really have other benefits from smoking. Like I know somebody, when they were smoking, that's when they got to be alone because people didn't want to be around them while they were smoking. And they needed some alone
Right,
time.
right.
So even though they went through the smoking cessation process, they still smoked because that's their shield. That's how that worked for them. And there could be other things. It could be, I look cool when I smoke. I don't want to take away my cool factor. And that's a challenge to get through. And that requires a different approach than just quitting.
Yeah. It's almost like girls that have like long hair, they don't want to cut it because they identify with this stuff so much, right? Same.
Yeah, it's true. Very true.
If it's part of your identity, and even if you want to quit, and I found in a lot of cases, it's not the person who wants to quit, it's their spouse or their significant
Right,
other,
right, right.
and that's the wrong motivation.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's true. Now, what about like verbal? Like, I know one of the things I do a lot, my daughter tells me all the time.
Talk too
Say,
much.
You know. I say, you know.
okay.
So do you help people with things like that?
I can't even stop saying but.
Right.
So, although what I do is I've learned to switch it. As soon as I hear myself doing it, I switch.
catch
So,
it.
so I
My
say,
father said that to me. I remember that. I don't know what it was. I think it was, why do you always say, you know?
Maybe
goes,
I say it
"Can't
because of
you-
you.
No, I don't say it
and
anymore.
if it's something that somebody is
So when I was
calling
a
your
kid-
attention to it, maybe it's a prop, like it could be a thinking space.
Right.
And so, how many times do you have people, you know.
Yeah, right.
So you could actually decide, doesn't require hypnotherapy to do this, you could decide
Right.
I'm
that
not saying it.
I want to just take a pause and be more paced about things, and then you won't have to say you know, or you may decide to replace it with something else. You can actually do something called switching.
So what's a good word to replace it
Instead of you know, it could be
Slapper.
it could
sorry.
be. Some people do
Oh, no,
and
No,
that
I
was
hate
the
the
next-
I hate
No,
that.
but
that
that
one I
was
don't
my
like.
next
Right.
When you're
question.
sitting
And-
there and you're giving a speech and
But that was my next question.
I actually had a radio show. I relabeled the show because I was by myself. My guest hadn't shown up in the last minute, and I needed to talk for 46 minutes, and I was just going you know, and sometimes you. So
Right.
if you want my opinion, I would switch you know to and.
Ends. Okay.
And.
Now, when I was on that panel yesterday, I watched it, of course, later because I wanted to see what I did, good and bad. And I noticed that every one of our speakers said the word a lot. So that's not good.
Right.
So again, unless you watch yourself, you don't know it, you don't realize. And they were pretty high level women. And we used the word a lot. Not me, but they were higher. I mean, they were higher than me. But anyway, so how do you stop saying
And.
The same thing. Just-
And. Okay. And is the new word. The word of the
Because
month
and is a
and.
connector.
I love you and
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
That's very good
Right?
advice.
That's good.
Hi Bree, how are you? Say
Very
hello
good
to Bree.
advice.
Liza.
Oh,
Right here.
hi, Brian.
You got some friends watching.
Yes, she does.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
so
great. So, okay, so we talked about the business, we talked about the social, we talked, do you ever have people coming to you that they can't find a significant other or a boyfriend and they want your help? Or a girlfriend?
The number one thing people want to focus on is quality relationships.
Quality.
And then it, and then that begets, like, I could run an ad saying, have quality relationships. And they could come flocking to me because if they believed, they could come flocking to me. Yet
What do you call quality?
the real
I-
challenge here is that what they want is just automatically to go, the next person's going to be the right person, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
They have to do the work on themselves. And so what I will deliver is the relationship with themselves.
First.
Because that's what they need. And so it's a different way of looking at the journey.
Interesting.
As soon as you have a quality relationship with yourself, then you will have quality relationships at every turn.
So maybe then the fact remains is that when you do go through some bad times, you finally do have that quality relationship with yourself when you get through it.
That's not
Right.
necessarily true though.
Well, that's
It
how
can
I
be.
feel.
It can be. I mean, one of the things, and again, we were talking about this offline, and I'm adding something to this now, is that in my observation, about half of humanity will leave the planet highly reactive and unaware. So they won't have quality relationships. They will always be reacting, sometimes violently, like what we saw at the at the Academy Awards. I'm not saying, by the way, that individual is always in that state. He regressed to a state like that. However, there are some people who are never aware. They never, like, Will Smith knows he messed up.
Yeah.
And he's doing the work right now. I can
Right.
guarantee you that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And he was doing the work before. Yet there are people that you will bump into who have never done the work. They're not equipped to do the work. I'm not blaming them. They've just never been given a path or an opportunity. And maybe there's other things going on, poverty or whatever else that might be playing a role in why they are so reactive. And it's until they get a chance to have that door opening and becoming more aware that they can start to develop that relationship with themselves. So to your point, not everybody who gets older is going to develop that healthier relationship. And we are always works in progress. So it's not like, even though I have a lot of answers, it's not like I am the epitome of perfect.
So you
You're
have
close,
issues
though.
Absolutely.
too.
Well,
not the poster
I have
boy.
one issue left.
Very close. Thanks.
He's not the poster boy. But you look like the poster boy. So the poster man.
Wait till you see what she does with that picture tonight.
Well, you're really very,
But wait a second. I don't mean to cut you off, but let's. What do you call and what do you call a quality relationship? What do you?
For me, the longest arc of our lives is learning how to step out of a place of fear and stuckness and live in a place of motion or action and love.
That's what her book's about.
Exactly. So she's going to
all
come
painting
on.
the
She's
same
going to
dog.
become on my video cast. You're going to be on my video cast.
Great. And
So-
you also were married for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, and-
So I learned a lot on that marriage. I learned a lot, and I learned a lot before, during, and after
And
the
after,
marriage.
right, yeah.
And
Well,
the marriage was an important part of my lesson kit, yet it was, in many ways, it was kind of incidental, because what I really learned so much about myself was after the marriage. So,
Right.
After marriage?
yeah.
so while you're in a marriage, you may be facing the constant reinforcement of stuckness. Your fears could keep
You
showing
just-
up. Your
yes.
triggers could keep showing up, and all those things. So until you have a chance to step back and breathe, step back and examine and look at things with a level of awareness that you weren't happy and you needed to do something to change it. A lot of people know they're unhappy, and that's the extent of their awareness. They don't know what to do about it past
That's
that.
very true. Very true. This is going to be a
Yeah,
great book, guys.
Hold that book up.
Hold
I'm
that
telling
book
you,
up.
you got it right there. You
Yeah,
get
that
it?
book is going to be great. You're going to
it's
have a
true.
lot of people buying that book.
You know,
Definitely.
we're all saying the same thing, and the nice thing is there is no limit of how you can describe this, right? So everybody could. I almost didn't write this because I thought, oh, there are 9,000 million other books like this, but not from my perspective. So I'm going to
Right.
give a spin on it, and that's exactly what you do. You don't ever stop.
Right.
You do it, and somebody will connect with it, right?
Very
And that's if one person could connect with it, then you've done your job.
So to answer your question, quality relationship.
Yeah.
We're back to that.
Okay, here we go.
So a quality
Say red.
relationship is one that doesn't constantly feed you toxic experiences. You may have moments that are toxic, like we witnessed on the Academy Awards.
So when you're starting to get more bad than good, and
Yeah,
you're becoming more bad than
yeah.
good.
At a certain point, you stop attracting those things, and you start attracting things that are way more healthy for you. So, and it's because you're showing up differently. The person that's going to mirror how you are will show up for you. Doesn't mean you stop learning. Doesn't mean you stop having lessons. It just means that when you are healthier, you will have a healthier partner. The challenge is that so many of us in our culture go from, I'm either I'm going to use the word narcissist. It's still a loving term, but it's a fragile egoed person who doesn't have a lot of access to their core. So they spend all their time curating an image of themselves and want everybody else to buy into it, including their girlfriend or their wife or whatever the case may be. And at a certain point, that girlfriend or their wife and their children, if they have them, they all become fixtures in that person's story. And that means that they don't get to be themselves either. So they end up becoming victimized by that behavior. So you got, and the ultimate victim is the narcissist, putting that in that perspective. But in putting this together is that in the beginning, you see a lot of people who go through this narcissist, victimized person, then they get out of that relationship, they go to another one because the victim themselves may not know how to be alone with themselves or whatever the case may be, and they'll get another relationship just like it.
Yeah.
Eventually in time, the hope is that both will learn, but hopefully they will learn early enough in life that they can journey with a healthier relationship in the end. It's very unlikely that if you have a narcissist when you're 25 years old and you're married to it, that you will still be able to have a healthy relationship with the person ever. So,
Wow, that's interesting. And then when you do finally escape it, then you meet all kinds of great people because you're in a different place, right?
You can't just escape the person and the personality. You need to escape your connection to that, because most people who getting connected to those damaging relationships, they bring almost like opposites to the table. So I can be a victim of that energy, and that person can be the victimizer, yet they are a victim of their own energy, and this person can be feeding that. So it's not just pure bad and good. The situation is that there are people who are learning or reinforcing patterns until they decide they don't want the patterns anymore, and then they can release those. And that's where I can do some really helpful
right?
things, because I can help them identify what's in those patterns so they can learn them snap my fingers, like learn them very fast and very
Isn't
and
that a
permanently.
whole thing with
Well, it could.
hypnotism?
I won't be.
So if people are in a relationship and it's good, then it starts turning a little bad, right? The bad starts turning to a little bit more bad, and it gets worse.
Before it
How do you get that part back to good?
If they're both on a journey of awareness and discovery and wanting healthy relationships, they can work together on it. And they can also work independently as well, because again, if I think I have a healthy relationship with somebody and now that relationship's gone toxic, then it was probably more of a charming relationship in the beginning than it was a healthy one. Once the charm is worn off, then you're going to start to see all those toxic things that show up.
And not only that, you might, if you are starting to realize that, what am I doing? How did I get here? Why am I in the mess I'm in? If you even start asking yourselves those questions, you're already starting to become aware. Some people never even get to that point, and that's hard.
Yeah, and some people stay in marriages
because
till
they think
death
they
do you
should.
part
Because they're pleasing
they do.
someone
Yeah,
else.
that's right.
And
Right.
it could
Well, I
be
joke around that I was
someone
in
who had, like their
24-year
parents,
marriage, but 20 of it was getting divorced. The reason why we went that long, I believe, is because we had a daughter and we were
Right.
trying to figure out how could we navigate 2 households and all that stuff, and we just managed to kind of keep it together.
So you became friends. But,
Yeah, like the roommate
Roommates.
thing.
I was
right,
gonna say
and
roommate
that
thing.
happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, the roommate thing.
I can identify with some of it too. It is what it is. That's it is what it is.
Right.
Wow. Well, you guys really have a lot to say, and you're on the same wavelength, and I didn't even realize it till you both walked in the door.
Joe's
not
and Betty,
either.
how are you? Thanks for
All right.
watching, Joe.
It's
Something.
And Mariana, how are you? How you doing? And Stacy, I didn't say hi. Philip, I didn't say hi to before giving you guys a shout out.
Unbelievable, really. This was.
Yeah.
I really loved the conversation.
So
Really.
wait,
Yeah, it's good
but
stuff.
I do, and I'm gonna say, I would like to be hypnotized, and
Okay.
I'm willing to try.
Okay.
So I'd like to after the show. I'd like
Yeah,
to
we'll
talk
put
to you about
something
it.
together
Yeah,
for
that's-
you,
yeah.
and then,
I would like
we'll
that.
come back on and talk about your
Yeah,
experience.
that's exactly
Wow,
it.
that's
yeah.
a great
And if
idea.
it's,
That I would
even
like
if
to do.
it's not a conventionally successful
Right.
hypnotherapy, I bet you'll still feel
Right.
something. So, so it would be really cool to kind of talk about how it felt.
Right.
It's-
Bob, giving you a shout out. Just saw you. Hello. Bob D'Amato.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that I real quickly, and then we have to end. There was
Yeah.
My father used to always say, you have to believe, whatever it is, and they're the healers, they're fake healers, guys that'll put their hand on your shoulder, on your
Yeah,
head, whatever.
those are the ones
and
on
there was a
TV.
guy, my father said to me, listen, look, the devil is too much in you, right? When I was young, and he says, look, I don't know what else I can do with you, you know what I mean? So he turned around and he took me out to Boston. Father, I think it was Irish, like not flattery or flattering.
Flanagan.
Or not Flanagan, or flattery, or something like that. Anyway, all I know is we went to it looked like a stadium, indoor, and he got up on stage and he had his robe on and he's talking, like he was giving like a mass, giving a little sermon thing, whatever, and the place was packed, and there was cameras everywhere. People came in wheelchairs, everything like this. All of a sudden, the guy's talking for about an hour. Then he turns around and he walks to the back of the stage, and 2 people come in and take off this robe and they put another robe on. And now he has a holy water. Now he starts speaking in tongues, okay? And as he's talking, now he decides, he walks off the stage and he's walking. And as he's walking, when I tell you, he has his hand like this, but he puts his hand in the holy water like this, and he's going like this. And as he's doing this, people are dropping, falling, sitting
Yeah,
back, whatever. And I'm
I've
going,
seen it.
nah, when this guy fell down the stairs, I bet he's getting $150 for that fall. The other one, she fell, she's probably getting 50. I'm thinking everything is paid. Okay,
It
wait.
could even start that way. However, there's a social proof thing that goes on in this experience. So after a while, there are going to be people who are going to feel like they will have the same experience.
Right. Wait. So now this guy did, I swear to you, like the whole entire, and he was just and I was on the lower ground level, and as he walked, people are dropping, people are catching other people, whatever. And they say to you, ask what you want to be healed on, whatever it is, just, and I got to tell you, my father pushed me right in front of him. And all of a sudden I said, Father, and he just went like this, and he just put his hand in front of me, and when I tell you, I fell back somebody caught me, I don't know, 2 people caught me, but I just dropped, and I just remember his robe, like, going past me as he climbed over me. And all I remember was I was shaking, and I was crying, and the lady turned around, she goes, the non-believers fall the hardest, she says
Wow.
to me. I don't know if it healed anything, but I was still a troubled
Wow.
child.
It also
and
could
stuff,
have
but-
been a quasi-hypnosis experience.
Wow.
I got to tell you, that was the feeling that, like, if you have goosebumps all over it, but this was like, and it just like,
You
I was like,
and you
Father, and I
remember
just
it.
went, and that's
I don't
all
think I'll ever
did.
forget that
and,
one.
No,
and I just remember
and he
looking at
didn't
the
forget it.
ceiling, and I don't know why, I was just crying, and I was shaking, and the woman, You know, after they caught me, the woman just said to me, she goes, non-believers always fall the hardest. And so it was just a crazy experience. So I can't say it didn't work. I don't know what I don't even remember what I asked them.
Yeah.
Because I was just in a state of
Well,
shock.
to that
but-
point,
So,
skeptical about hypnosis until I had
Right.
an
Listen,
authentic
I'm
experience.
that's what I said. I'm willing
Yeah.
to try. I really would.
okay, so how do
But-
people reach you?
Well, they could start with just reach out to me at theeffectiveway.com. All my contact information's on there.
On Facebook and on
Yeah,
your
it's THE,
the
effectiveway.com.
.com. I like that. So now listen, I want to let everybody know that we're having a networking event
Oh, great,
Tuesday
great,
at the
great,
new
great.
barber shop. You want to, just bring your cards. It's going to be snacks. We're having a sip and sing here at G's
right.
on Sunday with
That's right, it's gonna be
beautiful Asia the Continent. She's a beautiful singer, and we have 3 authors coming.
That's right.
And then we also have some news coming about the Fontanas, and there's a new show coming up. We're doing some auditions here, right here at G's. We're still hoping this gentleman who lives in West Hempstead, he needs a kidney. If anybody wants
it.
information, contact me. And the new thing we're doing is Children of the April Rain with Lana Noon at the Cradle of Aviation Museum. It's all about 45 years ago when the children from Vietnam came on the plane, Pan Am, that crashed and they were saved, and those children were adopted here, and those people will be at our event, the adoption kids.
wow.
Yeah,
They're
it's
in their
great,
30s
it's
and
great.
35-year-olds. It's going to be a beautiful historic event at the Cradle.
Wow.
I'd
And
like
the
to-
rest, you go
That's
ahead.
Okay, and we want to thank our sponsors. Cliff, thank you so much for a great show, for all the hard work you do. We're thanking Tranquility Spa, which is located at 700 Franklin Avenue in Franklin Square. Great massage place, foot massage, head massage, everything. It's a great,
And you're
it's a great
going?
place.
I gave you
And you guys, you both will be going.
Tickets.
And then Oral Pure Jewelers, Teddy, thank you for everything that you do. At 1033 Hempstead Turnpike for all your jewelry needs in Franklin Square. Jackson Hewitt, the Prince of Taxes, I call him. He's located at 978 Hempstead Turnpike in Franklin Square. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much, our guests.
I don't know if
and
you
you
could
know-
talk that any faster.
No, I can say it a lot
Okay.
faster. I have to speak slow. I'm always told to speak slower. So this show is a.
It's almost a wrap because these are for you.
Oh, thank you,
Look at
love,
how
love.
nice I am.
Oh, look at this.
Aren't they,
What
aren't
is
they
it?
sweet?
Oh.
They're chocolate roses.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, look how
Can't
nice. Thank
give a
you, love, love.
man real roses.
Why? I mean,
Well, you could.
you could. But anyway,
I wanted
guys,
to give you some chocolate
thank you,
roses.
sir. Thank you.